Boom. Here we go today. First man on the podcast, my beloved.
First guest. How you doing, boss?
Good man. How
As if we don't.
how you doing? Like we didn't just wake up on fucking opposite sides of the room. So here we are. This is Zach. You've actually been on a podcast before, haven't you?
Mm-hmm. Post-concussion discussions.
Yes.
That one might not ever make it out though. we don't know.
That hasn't gone out yet.
I'm not sure. It was Chris's cousins when I was going to the boxing gym with them.
And you've never looked for it or anything?
No.
You were just like, fuck it, like I just did this podcast.
It was fun. It was fun.
It was fun while it lasted. After getting your head beaten in for 30 minutes.
Post-concussion discussions.
Actually, talk to me a little bit more about that. I remember you telling me you went on that trip and you kind of got your ass beat.
Well, it was a good experience. You know, Chris's cousins, they're like, at that time, this was not too long ago, this was like a year and a half ago, they're 30-year-old firefighter men, you know, tough, brolic.
Yeah.
And we're just some freaking 17, 18, 19-year-old pipsqueak kids. And, well, you know, a lot of people, they have, their arrogance stems from the fact that they've never been shown what discipline looks like. They've never been hit in the face. Mm-hmm. You know, when you've been hit in the face, you can say, okay, you know, you could have more humility. You could come from a different place, a different source.
Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth.
Yeah, like Mike said. You know? So, it was a great experience. It was fun, and I will say, out of all the exercises I've just done in my life, whether it's running or swimming, boxing is probably the most physically taxing.
Really?
That shit is so difficult.
Well, you actually whipped me in swimming, which was really funny now that I think about it, because that was like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
2 years ago, I'd been swimming for like maybe like 6 months, and you just came out there and never swam a day in your life.
The first day when he was injured, we were swimming, you know, just to get some exercise in and train. The first day I was there that I went swimming, I sucked. I could only swim like 2 laps back and forth without getting out of breath. The third day I did 150.
Yeah.
Like, I guess I just have a naturally good swimming body, which is a good thing, but it kind of sucks because I don't really swim.
Yeah.
It's kind of wasted potential.
I know. Well, now that we think about it, we haven't talked about that in a while.
Yeah.
Maybe you should start swimming for exercise. Go to the YMCA and get down with the old ladies and their pool noodles. That was that was a fun time for me when I was doing the aqua jogging thing. I was just every single time I popped out there, I think her name was Joe or Joel or something, but I would aqua jog for like an hour and a half, and she would just be there with a little pool noodle, and like she'd get after it with me. Yeah, that was my aqua jog team.
My grandma used to do aqua jogging, so she would be in that.
Really?
Yeah, me and you, we'd probably be swimming. She'd be over there with her old lady friends, like cheering us
on.
on.
I'd be there aqua jogging with her. I'd be cheering you on, because I'm not a good swimmer. You are, but yeah, man, we're talking about. It was like 2 years ago, like senior year of high school. We're talking about our high school days, but let's talk about now, man. You just came here like 4 months ago. Yeah. 4 or 5 months ago, and a lot has changed.
So much has changed in such a short little amount of time. There's so much information within a short time period, so it's difficult to express all of it in its vastness. But challenges are being broken, obstacles are being overcome. You know, comfort zones are being expanded.
Yeah.
And it's difficult. It's a difficult process. But it allows you to see your mental state from a different perspective. Because like that's the difficult thing about depression, for example. When you're depressed, you know what to do, but it's like your brain can't see it. It can't see that what's ahead of it, you know? Yeah. It can't see the value or the content of the good things that's inside of there only until it's ahead of the problem. Yeah. You know? Because when it's like a parasite. Depression is like a parasite. Those kind of things are like parasites. You know, once it attaches to you, once it fixes onto you, it causes an effect. You know, it causes an effect that damages you and harms you. Yeah. But once that parasite is off, you can think more freely.
Yeah, it's like taking off the blinders.
Yeah. So that's just the difficult thing about depression. You know, you could try to put in a vast amount of effort to help somebody, but a lot of the times it just comes down to they have to just surpass the depression in order to see and have more clarity. Now the tricky part is, how do you surpass the depression, you know? Of course, it involves everyone. Life is so individualistic in some sense that a lot of times the answer to like how to overcome something like depression lies in your own journey, you know, because it's not like a formula or a technique, because not all formulas or techniques work for everybody.
Yeah.
You know, so sometimes it's just your own individual journey. That's how I feel with my story and my journey, my testimony. I can't to help somebody who's depressed, you know, I can't give them a certain type of answer. Maybe I can give them a certain answer that'll be like a band-aid, or maybe it'll propel them to move forward to surpass their depression or whatever issue that they're dealing with. But overall, man, it's just such an independent journey.
Mm-hmm.
You know, me personally with my faith, I don't feel like I'm alone, you know, because I'm always going through my journey with God, you know, with Christ. So I don't always feel like I'm alone.
And I think that's a really important segue into a big part of life that a lot of people don't think about, and that's accepting the fact that you will not feel okay. Like, there are times in life when things won't go the way that you want them to, and a lot of times it's easy to just curl up in that corner and take the victim position. And I'm not saying to ignore those feelings, I'm saying to accept them for what they are. So, like, in your situation, like, if you're struggling with anxiety and depression and all these things, it's important to take time out of your day to feel those things as a whole. Like, if you're feeling that anxiety, not to just ignore it. You know, it's kind of like a bug bite. Like, if something bites you and you start itching it, there's a difference between noticing it and entertaining it. And you shouldn't be entertaining your foul, bad thoughts. You should just be accepting them for what they are and letting them go over you.
Yeah, definitely agree. And that's why awareness is so important.
Mm-hmm.
Having awareness, because with awareness comes direction. With awareness comes wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the blindfold is off, like you said earlier.
Yeah, and that's why they say like meditation is such a good thing. I remember listening to a lot of podcasts and reading a lot of books where people are like, meditation is so important, like so important. And I'm like, well, if it was that important, then everyone would be doing it, you know? But then it's like, there's so many things in this world that are so important that nobody does.
Mm-hmm.
And I found that like really sad, and it took me a lot of effort to really find the results of meditation. It took a lot of patience, because it's one of those things that it's an internal practice, and you don't really see differences.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes a long time for those things to come into fruition. So you have to trust in that process. It's like trusting into your religion or trusting into your faith. It can be difficult to find benefits in it, but if you fully trust in the fact that it will work, you will find yourself at the other side of your journey.
Yeah, Hebrews 12:11, I think it says that discipline is never pleasant in the moment, but will reap a crop of righteousness later on.
Yeah, and personally, like, I'm not a Christian.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, but I find myself with a lot of Christian friends, and I enjoy those people a lot, and I think this is a good standpoint for all those people that aren't Christians to accept all types of people into their lives. I feel like a lot of people that aren't Christians, they don't want to hang out with Christians. They don't want to be around them because they're afraid that they're going to put this opinion on them and trying to convert them into faith. And the thing that makes that a little difficult is the fact that these Christians, they have great morals. You know what I mean? And they have a lot to teach you. And as a person that doesn't believe, you should be able to take this advice and interpret it into your own life. Same thing with any other type of religion, like Buddhism or Islam. Like, there's a lot of great virtues, a lot of great morals that can be converted into your own life if you don't want to dedicate your faith to one thing.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like the Bible is a great source of, even if you're not Christian, I feel like it's a great source of wisdom, you know? Mm-hmm. Like that verse that I just said, even if you're not Christian, I feel like you can listen to that and gain some wisdom or understanding from it.
It's actually funny because when we went to church together back in Spring Hill, it was right before you came here. So what was that?
The end of
late May.
Yeah.
Late May. So, and all those lines, like all those verses, really resonated with me, and I felt, I felt compelled towards it. And the difference between that, there was a lot of people feel like the Bible speaks to them, so they convert to Christianity, and I didn't really have the urge to convert, but it rose a sense of respect in me to know that this religion is in a lot of ways pure and very productive, and I had a great time being at church. I had a great time going to the church here with some of the guys. It's always a good experience.
Yeah, and our secularness, our earthliness, I think is what complicates everything, because there's so much animosity. Like, I want to say I don't understand, but I know the reason why, but I don't understand why people can't sit down with an open mind and not assess the situation through the lens of judgment, and assess the situation with clarity and with an actual wanting to understand the other person's perspective. That's how I personally feel about, for example, the Bible. I feel like a lot of people, they say, oh, I read the Bible, but I have a feeling that, not everybody, but I have a feeling that certain people that do that, they say, oh, I read the Bible, it just, I don't like it, this and that, it teaches these I feel like they just went into it without an open mind.
Yeah.
You went into it with judgment previously beforehand, so obviously it wasn't going to work out.
Yeah.
But anyways, going back, like, for example, to what I was talking about, how these are tools that anybody can use, Of course, like, for example, that verse that I mentioned earlier, okay, what does this look like? Discipline is not pleasant in the moment. What does this look like? Okay, maybe it might look like being at the gym. Or maybe it might look like waking up an extra 30 minutes earlier. Or maybe it might be, if you're a musician, playing your instrument instead of maybe going to bed. You have to sacrifice a little bit of sleep in order to practice this piece that maybe you have a deadline. You have a gig, you have a show, you have an open mic. We've been playing open mics.
It's just fun. I know, a lot of fun, actually.
So, what does it smell like? What is unpleasantness within discipline? What does that smell like? Well, it could be, maybe you're running in the morning and you're like in the Rocky scene, the whole city is like, there's a lot of smoke from the factories and stuff. You're like, oh, it smells bad, but you got to get this running. Yeah. Maybe that, that's a loose example of what maybe unpleasantness within discipline would smell like,
Yeah, there's a lot of tension.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I don't know if I'm going to say this right, but I forgot what they're called because I'm an idiot. But they're like those plates in the earth that they rub together. I forgot what it's called. Tectonic plates? Yeah, tectonic plates. And they rub together, and that tension creates something new. So that tension is like the action of discipline. Discipline is tension. And you're going to you're like the immovable rock in the stream. The stream is hitting you, but you're still. But there's tension, and that rock will start to change and form from the tension of the water. You know what I mean? From the tension of these two things colliding. You create something new. And maybe that something new may be something you want. And maybe that something new may not be something you want. But at the end of the day, I feel like change is very important.
Yeah, and it's so easy as like, the things that I want to do, I don't do. And the things that I don't want to do, I do.
Yeah.
It's so easy as humans. I struggle with this so much, pretty much the majority of my life. I know what I need to do. I just have difficulty doing it.
Yeah.
And then the things that I don't want to do, the bad things, are so easy to do. They're so tempting, Yeah. It's like the fruit. It's right there. You grab it, you taste it, you're tempted to eat it. It tastes good. But it makes you feel like, it makes you hungover the next day.
Yeah.
Like, it was my 21st birthday the other day, and
it was good.
It was fun, but oh my goodness, the next day I had a terrible hangover. I didn't want it.
I accidentally got him a little more messed up than I should have.
Or Crown Royal whiskey.
Yeah. So he usually doesn't drink. I usually don't drink either, but we had our friend Johnny over. He's cool and he can drink. But he got him right. He did good. He didn't go to work the next day. But that's okay. It happens. And that's also another important thing too, is that you don't have to be this perfect human being that does all these righteous, virtuous things. All you want to do is be the best that you can, because like I said in the Bible, like, God has made nobody perfect. And it's important to not have judgment of yourself. Like, me personally, I've made tons of mistakes. Like, I make mistakes every single day, and I have to come to the acceptance that those things are real, and like, there's, in a sense, all I can do is be better than what I just did.
Yeah, and we can't be imperfect people trying to produce perfect results.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
You want to talk about music?
Yeah, we can talk about music for a little bit. So to fill you guys in, anybody at home or anyone that's even watching, we were both kind of lost in the whole entire, like, playing and doing all that, but then we ended up, like, I ended up starting with just busking and just being out there and putting those minutes in. People kind of started to gravitate, and then I met some people. Zach moved in, and you can take it from there pretty much.
Yeah, we've just been building a community. We've been having troubles finding community in other aspects of our life, both of us personally, and we are finally finding good community within the music. And I think that's a great thing. Just expanding ourselves. Like he said, we start, busking, just playing on the street. That's always fun to do. It's our practice ground. It's putting in the minutes. Actually, I think that's a very important thing in being successful in any domain, is you have comfortable places where you can grow. For example, we've been playing at this bar in Palatka called Uncork and Unwind. That's one of our home bases. Whenever we do open mic, we play at Ann O'Malley's, a bar. That's another one of our home bases. Whenever we go out and bust, that's a way for us to practice. That's another one of our home bases. We have environments that allow us to expand our skill set and allow us to learn. So that's very important, is to have those environments. He always talks to me about how important environments are. Mm-hmm. Environments could completely change your process, your system, and then your outcome. Mm-hmm. So me personally right now, and I've been learning. So I've always struggled to make chord progressions that stem out and have like longer melodic lines, but I realize it's because I'm only using the main tonic chords, I suppose. So like for example, I'm learning about secondary dominance, tritone substitution, modal interchange, modulation. A lot of these tools, these theory tools that allow you to make longer chord progressions that are more complex, that flow more, that are less predictable, that create more tension. Yep. Actually, I realized that's the reason why when I would play, there would be so much release, but not enough tension. So it's just always release. It's always, you're always getting to that note perfectly, but a lot of times you need that tension. It's because I'm not using dominant chords or seventh chords or ninth chords or whatever, all these theory.
And a good segue to that, let me grab something real quick. I've been meaning to force this into your hands, but a great guy, his name is Mike George, made this nice little wheel, which I have not been using, which I should, which I'm probably just going to start forcing him to use because I just bust go out more. But you can basically just put it on any mode. It's like, let's say if I want to do something Ionian, like if I want to do like G Ionian, I'll go this here. So this is A flat Ionian at the moment. And this one is a little wonky. But you get the point though. This is A flat Ionian. So and it's very nice. And this guy put it together super well. So I definitely suggest, if you are a musician, go follow Mike George. He's awesome. I got a little Polaroid from him too. Maybe send him an email being like, thank you. This is awesome. But yeah, so the music adventure's been great. I'd say we have a manager now pretty much.
Yeah.
So he's been doing a lot of cool things, and kind of like taking it slow, introducing us to everything. Hope soon we can play in St. Augustine.
If there's any drummers watching this in the area,
we need you.
We need you.
We need you. But on that point, let's wrap it up here. But I want to say thank you for being my first person on the podcast, man. And I know you had to travel far lands to get here.
Yeah. I had to take a plane, and then we had to go on the bus, and it was filled with people, and the baby behind me was kicking in the back seat. It was hurting my back. I mean, it was a tough ride, but we made it here.
So we actually had to skydive all the way out.
Yeah.
And then he just fell into the bus. But thanks for being here, brother.
Of course.
It's always good. How long was that?